All right. So now it is time for our review of F1. And as you can all see, we have a special guest.
Greetings.
He's under me. He's under me on my screen.
He's right here for me.
We have Avery. We have Landon's little brother Avery, who's going to be reviewing F1 with us. I would say out of the three of us, Avery is the biggest F1 fan. He is the one that got both me and Landon into F1. So we thought it would just be perfect to have him on for this. So we're gonna talk F1 with Avery, and then we're also gonna do a sports movie draft with the three of us. So yeah, let's just jump right into F1. Avery, how you doing?
I'm doing splendid. How are you all
First
doing on this fine
first ever
evening?
guest. First ever guest. Big milestone for the
Yeah.
channel. But no, what a perfect movie to have you on for. So I'll kind of give a synopsis. If you have not seen the trailer, it's Brad Pitt. He's old, washed up F1 driver, or he just does like other races and stuff like that. And he basically gets an opportunity to come be the second driver for this team in F1 that sucks. Um, the other driver is Damson Idris. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And yeah, it's basically just he joins like midway through the season, and they basically have to win a race, or their team is probably on the chopping block. Um, it's such a very generic, stereotypical like sports movie story, but it's with a sport that we love and that we don't really get to see in movies a lot. So very cool, and it's Brad Pitt, it's Damson Idris, Jodie Comer was very solid, Javier Bardem, um, and then of course all the F1 drivers make appearances as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes, very cool. Yeah, Landon kind of gives some brief thoughts, and then Avery you as well.
Yeah, so we actually all three saw this movie in IMAX, which is exactly how this movie was meant to be seen. I gotta say, like first impression, like when we knew this movie was gonna get announced and we knew um we saw the first trailers, my go to like the first thing I wanted to know was how is this movie going to portray the racing? And remember, we're watching F1 every week, the last couple of years where we know Brad Pitt's there and they're filming on track. So we know that it's real. We know that there's like basically no CGI footage. Like this is all happening real time on the track. Man, the camera work is so damn good, man. Like it makes me feel immersed with the driver. Me and Avery were kind of talking about it. Like it feels like when you're watching a race and you have the helmet cam and the cameras that's like over the back of the shoulder. Like it really did feel like I was watching an F1 race in IMAX quality. It is so well shot, dude. It is like so good. Obviously, Hans Zimmer's F1 score is incredible. We didn't expect anything less in this movie. I thought the acting was great across the board. I don't think there's really like usually in a sports movie you'll get like somebody who's like, oh, he wasn't that good, but at least he's like comedic. You have a like high list of very good actors in this movie already, and they all shined. They were all good. And I don't know, man. Like I had such high expectations for this movie, and it basically blew him out of the water. Um, when this movie first got announced, I was very scared that this movie might suck a little bit, whether it be because of the story or be because of the racing's not good enough. There's definitely some nitpicky things, not F1 related, that I know Avery will have, but about the story in general or something that went on. But overall, man, this movie's so good. It's such a fun time. Audiences are loving it. It killed at the box office this weekend, the opening weekend. I mean, guys, like if you love sports movies, if you love Top Gun Maverick, which I know, this is the same guy, go see this movie. Even if it's not in IMAX, you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, Avery.
Yeah, I agree. It was a very, very well done movie, I will say. There are only a couple things like I'll say technical wise that I was like, but I mean, the executive producer being Lewis Hamilton, the movie was in good hands from the get-go. He made sure to highlight everything, like the main points that you would see, and things that people who watch not only Formula One but also motorsports. I feel like they did a really good job. The set, like Landon said, the cinematography was beautiful. I loved all the shots on the cars. You had the halo cams, and it would do like basically like a 360 around the car during the races. I loved that. I loved how um throughout the races, there you actually saw like a focus on strategy and managing tires. I thought that was really cool being able to see that. Anybody that says that Joshua Pierce's can I say stuff about the movie? Does that matter?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody that says Joshua Pierce's crash is unrealistic, not true because it's loosely based off of something that actually happened. Granted, not to that extent. I thought it was cool that we kind of got to see some history wrapped into it as well. For those of you that don't know, the crash that ended Brad Pitt's career when he first joined Formula One back in the 90s was an actual crash that occurred. But yeah, overall, I love the movie. I was really worried about me being able to pick out things like, oh, this isn't right, or like blah blah blah. But no, it was a great movie. The technical aspect was honestly my favorite part, focusing on how the cars behave. Really, one of my most favorite parts was when the chief technical director, whatever her name was, I forgot it. I'm sorry. And Sonny, when they're trying to figure out how they can go about bringing about a new upgrade, and Sonny points out this dirty air, like we can't race. It's hard to race behind. But yeah, I mean, it was a great movie. Me being a Formula One head, I loved it. I don't see anybody that's complaining about it. I don't really see where much of that's coming from because I mean, it was just a great movie. My only complaint personally was I just wanted more racing in the movie. But I get it, it's a movie. You can't really overload it with it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with everything you guys said. I think the first like big, just incredible part of this was the cinematography and the camera work. I feel like in the sport of F1 and then both like in a Drive to Survive as well, like we get a lot of really good like shots already in both the actual races and then in Drive to Survive. But there are even shots in this movie that Joseph Kosinski is able to pull off that like I feel like I have not seen in either the show or in real life in the races. And that just goes to show like his skill as a cameraman and as a director with fast paced stuff, kind of like how he did with Top Gun Maverick. But yeah, there's a couple shots. And I'm like, dude, that's sick. Like it doesn't even look like that in the show. So that was very impressive. Yeah, like y'all said, the acting across the board was great. I do have two very, very small cons, but I will get to those in a minute. But overall, dude, like this movie, whether you like F1 or not, this is why you go to the movies. This is like the most like this is the probably the biggest outside of like Mission Impossible. This is like the biggest blockbuster of the summer. Like, but Mission Impossible is a franchise. This is not a franchise, so I feel like it's a little easier, more accessible to people to go see because it's not really connected to anything. It's its own story. So just an unbelievable time at the movies, and the fact that you got Avery, who is a diehard F1 fan and could be very, very picky on stuff. The fact that he loved it, and then the fact like generic fans that Kobe went and saw it with y'all. Kobe doesn't give a crap about F1, and he had a great time. I think it's very cool that they were able to satisfy both audiences. I think that says a lot. I think, like Avery said, I think with Lewis executive producing, that was very cool. I think he was able to kind of satisfy racing fans' needs, and then yeah, Wilk, I think you mentioned it, dude. The Hans Zimmer score. Oh my god, that score had me fired up the whole movie. I actually listened to the whole thing on my flight today, and then the soundtrack as well. We've been getting a lot of those songs over the last couple months, but hearing them in the movie,
Yeah.
I think they all like worked well and fit into the story well. It wasn't just like songs for the sake of songs. It was like they worked. I don't know. So yeah, dude, an absolute blast with this. I'll go ahead and give my two little cons, and then y'all can give some cons, and we can do ratings. My biggest con, I'll start with my little con first. My little con was Avery kind of mentioned it. His crash, not saying his crash was unrealistic, but the fact that like that whole car blew up and he was able to get out. The crash being one thing, like flipping through the air and crashing, and maybe getting a burst of fire or something. But
Yep.
like when it shows it in the movie, that whole car blows up with him in it. Like you're not. I don't think you're walking out of that. I
Yeah.
don't know how similar that was to the one that you said that they actually kind of recreated. Um, but I mean, I don't know. I saw that. I legit thought he was dead. I was like, damn, they actually did it. But then they pull him out of the car. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't know if he's actually like getting out of that okay. But I'm glad he did because he was awesome, awesome character. Um, and Avery, you can kind of jump into that whenever you give some thoughts. And then my biggest complaint of the whole movie, it was very, very small. I think the generic villain being that like bored guy, he was pointless. He was pointless. I didn't care about his character at all. He was just very like every sports movie you got like the big bad owner guy who's like going to sell the team and try to make money off of it or whatever. He's not in it for the people, he's in it for money. It's just so generic and cliche and it was boring and I think it was not needed at all. I think you could just have the fact that like they lose the team if they lose. Um, that would have been enough. I don't think having a character like display that was needed. And every time he was on screen, I was like, this guy's pointless. So those are my only two complaints. Outside of that, dude, I have nothing but praise.
Um, yeah. I kind of with you. I have a little complaint, and a big complaint. I'm not gonna go into the one you just said about the villain role. I definitely agree that he was kind of pointless. I don't mind that they were forged or anything like that, but then you like made him a big character all of a sudden for the last race, which is dumb. But
Yep.
I definitely understand. Yeah. Like I said, I don't mind because he had shown up previously in the movie, so it wasn't a new character. But the fact that all of a sudden, oh yeah, by the way, he forged the documents, and then now he's like the main character. He's a main villain for the last race is kind of annoying, but whatever. Little complaint. This is kind of technical, but not really. I kind of looked at Avery. After the movie and I kind of said like, man, he crashes a lot, which is fine. I know he's reckless and everything like that. I almost wish there wasn't as many crashes and there was kind of other problems with the car, maybe like engine failure or tire problems or DRS not working that cost him, as opposed to just crashing. I feel like that's an easy way out sometimes. Like, oh, he crashes and now like they can't use the car and it's his fault and everything like that. But I feel like because he crashed like what 4 times, 3 or 4 times, and he was out of the
Yeah.
race. Um, so again, I know he's a reckless driver and they go with the driving angry thing. I just think it's kind of lame when you knew that this car already had problems. So do some engine failure stuff or some car troubles type stuff that they have to work through. I thought that would have been a cooler route than just crashing it. But again, that's nitpicky. I understand. Like, I don't mind that they went to just a lot of crashes for no reason, I feel like. And
Hmm.
then I don't get me wrong, there's like nothing wrong with it. I'm being selfish kind of because I didn't love the ending. The okay, hold on. The ending was not how I wanted it to go, I guess. I was being selfish and I thought he was gonna like either stay on the team or kind of be an extra driver. I understand fully that he loves it for the racing. Like he is chasing the winning feeling or the flying feeling that he kind of explains. I was selfish and I kind of I wanted him to like stay with the team and maybe be a mentor to JP and kind of be with the team and everything with what's his name's character, Javier Bardem's character and everything. So look, I understand the reason they went with the ending they did. He wants the adrenaline. He loves racing. It's not about the money. It's not about the trophies. It's not about any of that. But I'm being selfish and I wanted him to stay with the team. That was it. So don't think that I'm like sitting here gonna take off 6 points because of the ending. It's not that. It's just I was being selfish and that's my really like complaint.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I saw people talking that they could kind of set up for a sequel, but it not be like an F1. He would go on to race the Baja, which is a pretty big deal as well. Um, Yeah, kind of going off of what Cole said about the crash. The crash that they replicated to a sense wasn't near to that effect. I mean, the car did launch up off of a curb, did spin around. It didn't clear the wall. The car didn't blow up in real life, which I kind of saw a parallel to Roman Grosjean's crash in 2020. It kind of makes sense that he comes out of it, but like Cole said, that car exploded, so it's kind of like, eh. Um, I did kind of mention this to Landon while we were watching the movie. I wish that they would have highlighted more historic tracks rather than like we got Hungry, which has been on the calendar for a while, and then we got
Spa was cool too.
Spa, but I told Landon we got Spa for about 5 minutes, which I get. They made contact. Sonny's race was over, so we kind of glazed over it. But I wish we could have gotten uh, something like Monza, which we did get Monza. But like if we could have gotten like Imola would have been cool. More of Suzuka would have been cool. I just feel like we kind of picked Las Vegas because it's shiny and new. But I mean, most F1 fans know that that track is not great. The Las Vegas Grand Pig because the layout looks like a pig. Um, I also wasn't really a fan of uh the romance storyline, him and the technical director. I thought it kind of diminished her role a little bit. Because women in motorsport's a big deal right now. Like the I think it's a technical director for Red Bull is a woman, and she's amazing at her job. So I found that kind of to be unnecessary. I kind of got why they did it, but at the same time, I was like, uh, it kind of made her character a little one dimensional. But other than that, I didn't really find anything to complain about that much, other than the fact that Sonny Hayes is almost 60 years old driving a Formula One car. I was like, "Ooh, I don't know
Yeah.
about that," but other than that, I mean, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah. Yeah, me as well. Yeah, so I guess I mean we've all talked about it a good bit. I think we can kind of jump into ratings now. I'm definitely know that I'm gonna be higher than both of y'all. I'm not as like picky when it comes to the F1 stuff as Avery and um I don't know. I had the most fun I think in this movie than I have had all year. Um, Even like with Mission Impossible, it's like it's got those two incredible sequences, but like you know, Landon, like we've talked about, like that first hour is just weird and it kind of throws you off. This whole movie, like from start to finish, I was locked in. When it starts off with him in Daytona, so cool. Um, I'm glad it didn't like just jump directly into F1. It was like, all right, how are we going to get there? Um, yeah, dude. I mean, from start to finish, it is. I will say, I will play devil's advocate here. It is an extremely cliche, stereotypical feel good sports story for the most part. It's just with the sport that we love. So we're a little more biased towards it. But I don't know, dude. I had a phenomenal time. I had so much fun. My theater was hooting and hollering, and uh, I think from everything from the director to the score and the soundtrack, and then the acting was good across the board. It looked great. It sounded great. The sound editing was unreal. Um, I think it was just a borderline like perfect action slash sports movie, whatever you want to call it. Um, it's my number one on the year. I did give it 5 stars. I literally have it at a 9.8. That's how much fun I had with it. It was almost up there to me. I would say like Top Gun is probably like the best action movie of this decade. Um, but I think this is like right there with it, and the fact it's the same director, like it just goes to show. But I know not everyone is probably going to be that high, but that's just me being biased because I also just love F1 and so glad we finally got like a real deal movie about like modern F1 racing. It was just so cool. Um, and it was just an awesome story. I loved all the characters. I love the score. Um, like I said, I did have those two little complaints, but at the end of the day, like you got to make a movie and you got to have a villain, and you got to make things dramatic with the crash and the car catching on fire and whatever. So I can look past that stuff, and like I've told Landon, like I do my rankings based on like pure enjoyment, rewatchability. Is this a better movie than something like, I don't know, like Sinners or Warfare? Probably not, but it's just like what I have more fun with. And this is like the most fun movie of the year. So 9.8 for me, very, very high. I really don't know what is going to top that. Only thing I can think of is maybe like Weapons or something. We'll have to see. But yeah, Wilk, what'd you go with?
Yeah, so I wanted to give it 5 stars. I really did. There was just a couple things that, like I said, I was picky about, and I knew I was trying not to be picky going into this movie, but I knew I was going to try to be. You are right. It's like every sports cliche movie, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I still gave it 4.5 stars though. It is up there. I put it at number three for the year, so it's right there. I gave it a 9.4. It's right there, right on the edge of 5 stars. I thought there were some just amazing parts of this movie that might be, up there with how I felt watching Top Gun Maverick and, this year watching Sinners and Warfare. There were definitely parts of that. There were just a couple parts that I didn't love that are not going to make me give it 5 stars. But rewatchability, it's probably up there at the top of the list for this year. So yeah, 4.5 stars, 9.4. It's right on the edge. I wanted to give it 5 stars, but just a couple things that I didn't like. But hey, I will take a 9.4 F1 movie every freaking day of the year. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen as many movies as these other two guys. I think I've seen maybe two or three this year so far. So it kind of by default is going to get number one on my list just because it's just right up my wheelhouse. It's a sport that I love that takes up pretty much all my time at the moment. I'm gonna give it a 9 flat. There are a couple nitpicky things, but like nothing to where it would make me drop my rating by 2 whole points. So yeah, I'll give it a 9 flat.
Yeah, dude, high praise from the boys. This is a damn good movie. I would say like, average score wise, Wilk, this is like our highest of the year.
yeah, probably.
In regards to average score, other than I think Sinners would probably be up there for second. But I mean a 9.8, 9.4, and a 9, like that's awesome. We all three of it just absolutely loved it. Everyone needs to go check it out. It's doing really well at the box office, and since F1 is a worldwide sport, I think it's going to continue to make a whole lot of money. I don't know if this is something I ever really need a sequel with, but we'll see. Maybe it just opens up the door for more F1 movies.
Yeah,
We'll just kind of have to see. But yeah, dude, super high praise from all three of us for F1. Everyone go check it out. I'm going to watch it again next week with Dad when I'm home for the break. So
love that.
very, very good stuff. Avery, thank you for joining us and giving us your F1 nerd thoughts. But
Everybody be
now,
on your toes for the Keanu Reeves F1 documentary
oh yeah, I did
I
see.
forgot
I
about
about
forgot
that.
about that. I
about
forgot about
about Braun GP. If you guys want to figure out how Mercedes got as good as they were,
that.
check that out.